everyone. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome to Garrett's House. I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And of course, this is
Garrison House Podcast.
Today we are on, well, I guess we're on our favorite network, Cashmere.
Cashmere TV.
Yes.
And guess what? It's birthday yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Guess whose birthday it is? Yesterday. So what is still your birthday weekend?
Yeah, it's my birthday weekend.
And
My birthday weekend. And it's
Father's Day. Yes.
Yeah, and I think next year it's all in one day.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so we will have a father's birthday thing.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it is Mother's Day comes. It was a week before my birthday,
Right.
so it's always a week before my birthday almost. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And I'm trying to figure out why.
And his usually falls around 3 or 4 days away from it, because
Yep.
it's always like it was a third Sunday or no something. So yes, Father's Day.
Yes, it is.
And he is a great father. Suffer, sometimes he can be pushy.
I am a great father. I can't be put. Well, I do push her, kind of push with her because
That's daddy's, but
Yeah,
you gotta be,
I'm
it's
a
a
daddy.
girl. You gotta be patient.
I'm getting better. I love my daughter.
Yes, he does.
So
I remember always talks about how when she was little. I mean, it was him and her. One time he had to take her all the way to Atlanta by himself
at her first plane ride.
on his first plane ride. So yeah, he always had to do it. I always had to make sure they got the little lunches together because sometimes they don't want to eat. Daddy don't know how to feed the baby.
I did feed the baby. It's just so her picture shows up on my iPad from I forgot what year. I think she had did the dance at church one time. But yeah, it's great. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yes.
Those of us who have been through this process, it's a journey. Those new fathers, you're gonna have a great time.
Yes.
I was gonna say that. It's going to be great no matter what. It's nothing crazy about it. And then got a lot of greetings that came in, a lot of happy Father's Days and all that stuff.
Happy birthdays.
My brother's birthdays are coming up. They're not on my calendar, but
Okay.
next week is my aunt's. So this time next week we'll be celebrating my aunt who's the matriarch. So yeah, we have quite a few birthdays coming. So happy birthday to those who I didn't say happy birthday to. But we forgot to also say yesterday was also our pastor's 45th wedding anniversary.
Right.
So happy anniversary to Apostle Wayne T. Jackson and Dr. Beverly Y. Jackson. They have been married. And also, Apostle, I know they said they wanted to do it on the internet, but I would say, they said one thing about Apostle. One thing to say about him is with me, he taught me how to basically get my act together, break some bad habits I had. So that's one of many things I can say. What you got?
You mean for as a spiritual father?
Yes, spiritual father.
Spiritual guidance. The first thing that came to my mind was actually consistency.
Yeah.
And his determination to do things. If he hears from God, he's automatically on it.
He goes on.
So he goes on and he finds a way to incorporate it right away. So he doesn't, as they say, put it on the shelf and wait for later. No, if he hears it, he goes for it. Just like he mentioned during service that he had a script idea, a whole movie idea came into his mind. He was already on it, got a writer and everything. So yeah, that's one of the things. His tenacity, his consistency, just going for it.
I think that's something a lot of us need, and that's an example. I thought about that one, but that's an example right there that a lot of us who are in ministry, those of us who work, who are creators, the one biggest holdup is sometimes we may have an idea for something. Oh, I'll save it for later. Oh, I'll do this. Because I know one time I had a dream that was so vivid, and I woke up, and these devices are for more than just. You can, if you get an idea in the morning, and because you can have a dream that's so vivid, and you'll get up in the morning, man, what was that dream about? I had a dream that was so vivid. I sat at the edge of the bed, typed out everything I saw in the dream, and I need to find that because this is actually a really good movie or story idea. And, just stepping out on that. That's one of the things that really is important, understanding how to step out on faith, stepping out on it. And that is one thing that,
Right. Faith is the substance of things hoped for,
Yeah.
things not seen. So you have to at least have faith to believe that it is going to happen,
right.
even though you don't see it. But sometimes you're always trying to figure out if it's an ideal. You get an ideal and you try to figure out if it's God. I mean, if it comes to your mind, I mean, who else is going to bring it to your mind? Sometimes it is.
If it's a positive,
idea,
uplifting idea, it's a God idea. If it's a negative idea, well, that ain't God.
Right.
Because you can't have.
It's like, oh, Jesus, what did that come into my mind for? Ooh,
right. I mean, example, we are working on storyboarding for our next movie. And I'm going to let me see which one do I want to show. But, we were just discussing before we came upstairs that the storyboards are so good. We may have to do tell the story. I don't think the new ones are up here, so I'll just pick one random one. Oh, they're coming. We were just talking about, well, maybe we should just do something with it as we're preparing the story. And this is one of the storyboards that I actually like. And this is one of the scenes from the movie we're working on. Now, the computer, of course, what we're using to create it took it out of sequence. However, this one here is a phenomenal storyboard where our main character is with a homeless gentleman. And so we're going to tell a really good story. So we're looking forward to getting that story told soon.
Right. I mean, I was saying, all these images that he's been creating, he was doing as a storyboard. I said, well, honey, maybe we should just put something together. And that way it can help people visualize these scenes, what the movie can be about. You still could use it as a story, but at least visualize, see what the movie is going to be about, and we can display it. That way people will be more so forthcoming and rally around the troops, try and say, oh, yeah, I want to go wait. I can't wait to see this movie. So
that's the plan. That's our plan is to tell the story, because she gave that idea, going on what she just said about our pastor. I think we just need to go on ahead and step out and just we talk it. Let's just go on ahead and do it. I'm gonna finish my part. It's a huge movie. It's not. In fact, the script is literally right back there in the corner. It's not a 20-page movie.
Also, just before we go to the topics on hand, I was just like, also we were talking about this afternoon before you came up here about Hosanna the movie. We are still going to release it. If you have watched the reels I have saying that is coming. We are still coming. We had to get a lot of logistics things in order. But again, once you say it, I want to do it. Let's jump into it. So that's the reason why I started to do the reels. So we do have a positive thing that's coming up, and everyone can enjoy it. You don't have to be in the Detroit area, but everyone can enjoy it. And we just can't wait to display it again for everybody to see.
Yeah, we just received a text. I shared a link that we shared to people who want to see the stuff we've done, investors or friends and family. So I sent it over to a friend, and he just sent me a text back about the movie. He watched it. I'm not sure if he watched it with his wife. However, every time we get somebody views it, we get the same thing. When it's a part, he hadn't asked about a part 2, but the reviews have been relatively really well. Let me see. I'm pulling it up. I'm not gonna put it on the screen. But he's actually getting his stuff together too. He says Hosanna was fire.
Was fire.
So you think Hosanna the movie was fire? For those who have seen it, a lot of people say, yeah, it is that good. Wait until you see the next one. The next one, as for storyboarding, and like she said, we're just gonna probably tell the story of it. We got a lot of stuff coming out. We're working on this summer. We're gonna make this a summer doing something other than other stuff. So I've been really working on the creative side, trying to generate a couple of books and getting some ways to get you all to see what we do as creatives.
It's amazing that I just thought of something right now.
Was that another story?
Well, I had another story, but then in my other story, I figured out how to do it.
Good. I'm ready to see it. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Yeah, actually, I was in church and I was actually thinking about a whole story that just came to my mind, and it was kind of interesting as I was talking about our pastor. He was saying that he got a whole movie came into his mind. I said, "Okay, Lord, you must be talking about us now. You must be speaking." So when you hear it, jump on it. I think we need to talk about that during prayer, guard.
Yeah, we can, because here's one of the other scenes that I found that's coming from the movie.
Yes.
This is actually the first scene that's storyboarded. And I think this is the one that you saw at first, like, okay, this is pretty deep.
Yes.
We're getting it together. But
Yes.
at the same time, let's get off the fun of the storyboard. We also want you all to support us.
Yes, please.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Follow us on our socials. Leave a tip at the tip jar, because the tips help us
Yes.
do this stuff. You know, everything has a cost. I just gotta say it. And you have that because you asked that. So if you want to tuck a little tip in our tip jar on GarrisonHousePodcast.com, you can do that. Just tuck a little tip in there for us.
Any amount is appreciative.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And it helps us advance the podcast, advance our ventures that we've been planning on doing.
Right.
So yeah, we're just glad that you are supporting us, and just continue to support and watch Garrison House Podcast.
Yeah, and another way you can also support us is join me on my weight loss journey.
Ooh.
Yes, you can join me. And basically, you know, being fit is more than what we see on the outside. And AM Total Being Fitness proves that. They use medical grade testing and patent pending process to measure your real progress. They sure do. It's from DEXA scans, VO2 max, metabolic rate, all backed by science, and they don't guess what they're doing. Basically, I like the fact that this is not about losing weight. It's about total wellness, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Yes, spiritual. We do talk things of God there at times. So, basically, like I always tell people, I've got healthier. I feel better. I'm seeing real results, not just on the scale. So I want you to join me and many others who are there. So just scan that QR code on the screen or visit amtbfit.com. That's A as in Apple, M as in Mary, T as in Tom, B as in boy, fit.com, and mention Garrison House Podcast for special offers.
Yay.
So that's
that's how you can help support Garrison House Podcast and support yourself in your weight loss journey. Sometimes you need a boost. Sometimes you need a help.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need, it's going to cost. Weight loss is not an easy journey, especially, and sometimes it is going to have to cost. So, but it's still 20 pounds makes a difference. 10 pounds makes a difference. And you feel good at 10, just 20 pounds. Right.
Difference.
So, just think about it. And it brings confidence. It brings, things that I probably would never thought to do by my weight loss journey. It's just brought a lot more confidence. Yeah. So that's one of the things. So help a brother, sister. I'm just kidding. Help yourself out and enjoy your weight loss journey with Total Fitness.
Yeah, because I can tell you this. They also do tell us. So you can say, well, I'm not in Michigan. Just scan the code.
Yes.
They most definitely, they have programs that help you out anywhere in the country. And I can tell you this, for my birthday, they hooked me up with the shake.
He got a birthday shake.
Brian hooked that shake up. He's one of the trainers. Brian did that shake so smooth. It was gone before I even the first one was gone before I got in the car. The second one barely made it home. It was so smooth. I mean, it was phenomenal.
I want to touch in bases on that too, which I have no affiliation with any drug companies or anything like that. He as his trainer, and that's his thing. But for people who want to know about those Ozempics, the Wegovy's, the Mounjaros, the Zepbounds, the GLPs, it is a good tool for women and men who is hard for you to lose weight. And it helps a lot. So if you can, go to your doctor, see if your insurance company, see if your prescription coverage covers it. Now, it'll cover the medical because it is what it is. You go to your doctor, and you don't have to have no special doctor or anything like that. You can just go to your own doctor, your PCP, and they can prescribe it for you. Women who go see your OBs, they can also prescribe it. So any doctor can prescribe it. It's just the fact that check your insurance, your prescription coverage to see if they do cover weight loss medications. And so if they do, I stated go on it. There is a pill that you can take too. I never tried the pill. I always did the shots, but also just go out there and try it because I still have those little stubborn pounds I'm trying to get rid of. I'm fussing at the scale, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep my journey because by September, I want to make sure that I am where I am, where my health is where it needs to be before I can stop taking it altogether.
Yeah, it's been for our house. I can tell you a couple things. We had a send off party for one of the brothers at our ministry yesterday. I had a sandwich, some chips, and some.
Right.
Oh my gosh, we ain't gonna talk about that cake.
That make no sense.
And that cake.
But it makes you full, and it's
Yeah,
like
we
you,
were
and,
full
and it
off
wasn't
that
like
little bit of food.
and a piece of chicken, and
Right.
it was even like a half of a sandwich. So it wasn't even like a, and so you are full once you. I mean, it really makes you full fast. That's what the GLPs does. It makes you full faster, and it takes longer for your to digest through your food to enter your bloodstream to digest slower. It doesn't release so quickly into you.
Yeah, I all I can tell you is
Yeah, so good. I mean, yeah, either one. Even if you use his program and the GLP, it works both ways. Because people were criticizing Weight Watchers when Oprah was over Weight Watchers, but then found out Oprah was taking the Ozempic stuff. But still, you still need to eat and know what to eat in order to the pounds to lose. You just can't eat stuff and okay, eat a sandwich, you're done. No, you have to understand the carb takes, the protein takes, your fiber takes. You have to eat fiber. That's key. Fiber is key. So anyway, yeah. So either way, both will work.
My favorite combinations now turn into kiwi and strawberry fruit. And I never get it. It never gets home because I stop and pick it up. I actually like it. And then this is basically the cake we had yesterday. And
right. Because the young man who we were sending off to his next journey, he was a camera operator. So that's the reason why in the back you see the little camera, and then for our ministry, and that's our chairs. And then you have the podium, the staging.
With the video wall.
And with the video wall. So that was kind of cute. She actually did a little good job.
I told her when I saw it, I said, I'm curious how the chairs are going to taste. Because one thing I can tell you about people who do cake decorations, I've seen cakes where you would taste the little ornaments or decorations and be like, okay, this is bitter. I mean, y'all.
Or the cake was just nasty. Because they focused too much on the decoration than the actual cake. So the cake is like, ugh. But no, the cake and the frosting, everything
was on point. I told my wife, I said, yeah, we're going to have her, when we do something where we need to have a party and need desserts, I know who to call.
Right.
We're going to call her up. And her and her mother does all the desserts for a lot of the stuff for the ministry. Yeah, this cake, it was good. So, but yep, we are.
Yes, we had cake, even though we were on weight loss.
The thing is, we don't have
pictures we took. You'd be like upset.
Then we got home, we threw some little things in our pizza rolls and my gift, air fryer.
Yes, his little gift. I said, okay.
And we had that after we were done. I felt great. And it's been a good thing. So, but yep, that is pretty much what's good, what's happening. Our weight loss has been a really fun journey. Enjoying the journey. Get yourself healthy.
Yes.
We are at that age now. We ain't gonna say our age unless she wants to. Where you don't mind saying our age?
No.
We're double.
Yeah.
We're
no, I said no.
We're 22. We're 22. That's what I said. We're 22.
Okay, baby.
But anyway, you have to get yourself together. But anyway, let's go to our next topic. We're gonna make this short. Many of you have heard what's in your wallet. Discover and Capital One. They merged.
Yes, the Capital One bought the Discover.
Yeah.
So I actually got a letter in the mail talking about it. So. So basically, what does that really mean? It just means that Capital One bought Discover's debt. And they're just managing it now. So that's what it means. Capital One and Discover merged together.
$35.3 billion.
Yep.
And if I remember correctly, Discover was started by Sears. If I remember correctly, Sears started Discover. And then somewhere along the way, they basically spun off into their own entity. And basically, this was a fast purchase. From what I'm reading here, they had announced it 1 month. The next month, they bought it.
Right.
So there was something going on at Discover where they had to immediately get bought out. Either A, they were collapsing, and we just didn't know. And as we're customers of both, so we just didn't know how it was. But the best part about Capital One purchasing Discover now, I had access to the Capital One. I think they're I forgot what they're called, but Capital One lounges, cafes.
Cafes.
There's one here in the city of Detroit. I wish they would put one out closer in the city. But the cafes, for those who don't know what a Capital One cafe is, Capital One Cafe is a place where you can have, from my understanding, you can have meetings there. They have meeting rooms, breakout rooms, food. It's a cafe, but you can have meetings there. Now she has access to the cafe,
Right,
which is good.
and they have kiosks where you can order stuff online that is geared towards Capital One. So that's one of the things too. So let me see if I was
one closer.
Let me see.
I think I went in Ann Arbor now. Hold up.
I mean,
I didn't see that.
let's see here. I was trying to find
We're looking up. So it's one of the things I like as creatives, because if we want to do a meeting, we can probably do it at the cafe because we have access to that. And I'm looking forward to actually visiting one. And then we have a couple things on our restaurant list we're going to try to do. But yeah, apparently, well, they said it was in Detroit is the one. I thought they said it was one in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, so
I'll give you that.
I
Put
think
yours up.
you got the pictures. You have pictures. Yours probably yours.
This one here.
Yeah, you see, you got your pictures here.
Well, I use yours. So that's what one looks like.
So
downtown.
yeah. So he actually has this. You can see a lot more of how the cafe goes, but that's kind of how it is. You just kind of, it's just like a coffee shop, and you just either order things online. If you have a Capital One, you can pay with your Capital One there.
Capital One bill.
Pay your Capital One bill there if you wanted to. As you were saying, they're having I guess they say it was conference rooms that you can rent out using your Capital One card.
Have conference rooms.
Use your Capital One card, and so yeah, that's kind of what it looks like there.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to going on ahead and trying one day. And but yeah, this is the one. I believe this is the Detroit one. So you can see they have it downstairs. So there's a lot going on in the Capital One Cafe. Cool. And I am going to have to go and check this out. I don't know where it's. I think I know where it's at. So we will try that out one day. Go there as part of our trips, because we have this restaurant I found in Ann Arbor that we're going to check out. And hopefully we will get a review. I'm going to tease it right now because, we're in our... because we're getting ready to get a little deep in our topic. So let's have a little fun here. We're getting ready to go and try this place out very soon. Hopefully next weekend we'll get over there and try that Korean fried chicken. Because y'all know we did talk about weight loss, however, we still know how to eat properly. And we do eat, but we don't eat as much. And I can't wait. I don't know how to pronounce that name, so I'm not going to butcher it. So we're going to try to hit them up and see how they taste. We'll let you know. Then we got another review. We still haven't done our Beirut pistachios.
Yeah, I downloaded it, and I just I got to figure it out because we did it interestingly.
We'll give you that in July. We'll probably do that more in July, do a lot more of our foodie stuff to make it a little bit lighter. But we got some hot topics that we're going to cover today. And we're going to jump right into...
maybe we should do a Kerosene House podcast dealing with just food.
Yeah, we are. It'll probably be in July where we'll feature Banchan and we'll wrap around it, and then maybe we'll find some other restaurants. Yeah. That's why you need to put a tip in the tip jar, because we'll go do it so you can we'll do it. And then
honest review, because we ain't all that socializing. You see all these other foodies do
10 out of 10.
We don't do socialize. We just got to eat it like, okay, it's all right.
Yeah, because I tried the other day, because I wanted to give me a little snack at KFC. They had those little strawberry, whatever those things are. Yeah. No, I'm good. They're not that good. I'm just saying. But anyway, it's time to talk about something a little hot. It's the hive mentality. Now, this came to me, the swarming and things that you see in the world. And I'm going to start it off because this is some of the things I've noticed. This came to me while I was out it was heavy on me. So I got to share it with y'all, because this is not on it's going to sound a little ministry, but it's basically what's going on in the world today. In the world today, you have these mentalities. If you are a Black person or African American, however you identify, you're Caucasian or white, Asian, whatever your ethnic background is, there's certain mentalities each group has. So as a Black person in the United States, the mentality is that, oh, you're a Democrat, but as soon as you step outside of that and say, well, if a person says they're not a Democrat, first thing people do is they look at you weird. Secondly, they wonder, well, what are you? And if you say you're a Republican, they're like, oh, you're Uncle Tom, which Uncle Tom will say, good guy, but we'll leave that alone. His grandson made history. And then there's other cultures. So if you're a person that's educated, you have a certain education hive mentality. So what we're seeing now is everybody's into these little groups, little hives. And similar, going back to the Bible, I told Angie, is like the Tower of Babel. They kept building the tower. Instead of one Tower of Babel being built, there's several towers trying to reach the top to see who can be the most annoying, or the most loud, had the loudest megaphone. This is on all sides. Conservative, you got the far right wing. We'll leave them alone. Their mentality, the far right and the far left, they might as well come together because their mentality is so radical, so it makes no sense to me. It's like the far right is against everything. I mean, they're against everything. The far left is for everything. Okay, y'all come together, y'all can fight each other, while those of us who are not, like y'all, don't have that same mindset, we will watch. Because in our house, we're independent mindset. We think for ourselves. So we see a lot of stuff. And another reason I came up with this is because she's been talking about situations with the netizens. Netizens is another pillar of the hive, because now this is where it gets interesting. With the netizens, if somebody does something or says something, they swarm that person.
Right.
They will swarm them and hit them hard. They go after everything they got. They go after their career, especially in the age. They try to get them pulled off TV. She can tell you what all they do.
They try to get them right, pull them off. If you're a celebrity in certain places, they will swarm you like crazy, and and it's not even at the point where you could even defend yourself. They state that you're lying. How can you tell me that I'm lying? And so they get down.
Cat.
So they pull them off of TV. They try to pull you off of TV. They try to go after your endorsements. They will swarm people's. So if you are endorsing a company or you were part of an endorsement, they will swarm that company's Instagram or whatever social platform with just spam comments telling them what this person has not done, but they gave him a chance to prove that he has not done it. But they immediately swarm these sponsorships, the celebrity sponsorships, Instagram, whatever social platforms they are. And most times they don't. It's not that they believe it. They're probably like, okay, well, so they will stop. They will stop any actions or stop any more sponsoring, only because they want them to stop them spamming their comments. That's all that is. They just want you to stop spamming their comments until the stuff dies down. And so now what happens with that is where now celebrities are, the way contractual works sometimes is that if you would get bad press or something happens which causes negativity towards your sponsorship, they can charge you, the celebrity, the cancellation or fee rather, because of that. And so, but it wasn't even your fault. It's just a lie that was told on you, and because of the swarming and bad press, that's what they're trying to go after. So that's where the hive mentality is. They just jump on it. Some people are just really just bad people, just cyber attackers. They used to call them trolls. No, now they just cyber attackers. That's all they do. This attack you, keyboard attackers, like keyboard warriors. They just out there just trying to attack you, and it don't even matter if it's true or not, because they want to jump on the bandwagon of negativity, and that's all they do. That's the only time they use the social media is to push negativity, nothing positive. And then if you are trying to push positive, then you come and find out you'll be called everything. Well, you're just a fan, and you're just trying to say, no, that's called facts. You don't have to be a fan. That's just called facts. So that's how they swarm in. They just group in. They just try to all come together and just like, okay, we're going to spam these accounts now to try to discredit this person who had nothing to do, nothing. He out here minding his own business. One false accusations, and next thing you know, everybody's jumping on and trying to bring somebody down.
Yeah, and that's the same thing in politics. In politics, the politicians that's supposed to be, we, the people, especially in the United States, are supposed to direct them what to do. However, the politicians directing the people what to do, and they're telling them, well, we need to swarm. And it's like, hold up, wait a minute. And the reason that happened in American politics is because we as Americans started calling our politicians our leaders. No, they're not our leaders. We are their constituents, which means we as the constituents are supposed to direct and lead them to our will, to what we want. However, over time, they've gotten that mindset like, well, I'm a leader. It's like, no, my friend, you're not the leader. You are a representative, and we elect you. We elected you in, and we can elect you out. But that's the mindset, and this is both sides, because I dealt with a Republican. We had a situation when we had our home, and we reached out to our rep, who was a Republican, and he just dropped the ball. He was like, I felt they were kind of rude. I've dealt with the Democrats, and some of them been kind of rude. So I've had it on both sides, and it's amazing to me that people don't understand it. You know, people feel that politicians and some politicians forget the fact that they are the representative. And this is the rendering I had done real quick of a Tower of Babel. So this is how I see, this is my vision of how people are. So imagine a tower for each mindset. Each mindset is in each tower, and everybody's trying to build that tower up. And imagine that's what we're going through. And in that tower right there, there's people shouting at other towers, throwing stuff at each other because they are fighting. And that's how we are today. We don't really talk. Right. We don't have conversations.
I mean, as you're saying, when you're on social and you can put your own, everybody has their own opinion about something. But then you're just gonna throw and try and say, yes, I lie, but you're not even telling the truth.
We ain't gonna say who does that.
You're not saying what is the truth then? You're just saying that's a lie, he lying, but you don't back it up with facts. But then you want to go on your own platform and start spewing all this nonsense. And then when a person comes back at you, you'll be like, well, I don't want you to be on. Oh, well, we couldn't put him on because we already had had another scheduled thing. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, y'all just didn't want to hear his truth. That's what I wrote. I put that down there, and people don't want to hear your truth. They just want to hear your own.
And everybody. And let me tell you something else. Another problem with the hive mentality. It never comes with a solution. They always see a problem. Right. They always want to rally the troops.
Right.
But no one has the solution. It's just like when I hear politicians say, "We're going to stand against the president," and blah 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 blah. In my mind, I'm going, so you're the lawmaker.
Make a law.
Make a law.
Right.
Well, he's not gonna.
How do you know?
Just write the law.
Because they don't have no creativity. They don't have no understanding, no law. I mean, if you don't like I don't like this bill, the big beautiful bill. Okay, well, what is it that you don't like? Did you negotiate? Did you try to say no? You just don't want to agree with it, and you want to take everything out. Maybe, right. I don't know. If I never had to do a bill. I don't know how that works, but to me, it seems like y'all should start at least negotiating.
Anytime a bill is thicker than this box, we got a problem.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to say. I'm like, should we negotiate here? This is not about you. You're talking about your constituents. It's about the people around you. Right. The people that we elected to be our voice in the Senate. It's your voice that we elected for your voice to be in Congress.
Right.
Not your own voice because you want to go because you said because we voted you in as Democrat to go against the Republicans.
Or vice versa. We voted you in as Republican, you go against the Democrats. No, that's the problem we have, and it's been going on. This mindset started right at the tail end of George W. Bush is when it started, where nobody wanted to work with each other. Mm-hmm. Everybody. So now you have a generation raised with the hive mentality. You got two political parties that no longer work for the people. And then you have a president that's trying to work for the people, but people don't like the fact that he's working for the people. People don't like him. It's like, okay, well, at some point, y'all got to write a law, just like the whole PBM thing we were talking about last week. the politicians are making PBMs a big deal, but they're the ones who write the rules for the PBMs to follow.
But instead of giving them an option, no, they want to destroy them altogether. They are like, well, because Arkansas right now has it where, because CVS Caremark has always been going under the gun because of the fact that they own both a PBM, CVS Caremark is a PBM plus CVS pharmacy. Right. So they were saying that's a monopoly, which, I mean, I don't know. Arkansas only has 23 CVSs. So you rather shut down 23 stores in your city. And so, and with less pharmacy out for your people to go to, who is easier to do now. And you're only talking about now, these mom and pop pharmacies are only open until 5, 6 o'clock at night anyway, and they don't open on weekends. So you're talking about now you just lost your weekend pharmacies. So what are you going to do now? You know, so that's one of the things that, so I can't profess to say I understand 100% what goes on between CVS by owning both. But still, you know, you at least could have asked them or negotiated with them to understand more. But no, you want to hear your own truth. You just want to be the big bad and say, "Oh, I did this." No.
And this is not just a Democrat versus, this is Democrats and Republicans.
They're
both doing this.
They're both.
That's good. That's the hive mindset.
Right.
So they can't agree with each other on some things, but they can come together and hive together on this.
Right.
And that's one of the things I tell people about politics. Politics is nothing like, I tell people, you're better off watching the WWE because it's the same. Politics is pro wrestling because when the cameras are off, they're arguing, they're fussing at each other when the cameras aren't. Some of them are. They fussing at each other. And then when the cameras are off and they're alone, so what time I had dinner at your place? Oh, yes, they're about 7. They're eating together. They're conversing together. They're cordial to each other. But in front to the public, they're showing fighting, which helps build each hive. It puts something in you, and now you're thinking the way they want you to think, and now you're picking which tower you're gonna get into. Well, I'm gonna walk over here to this tower.
I mean, that's what even what social is, the following. You're just following the people who have your same mindset. That's all that really is on social media. I hope that you follow Gray Ourselves podcast for a diverse mindset of certain topics and things like that.
We want you to think.
But another thing this came to me is when this Diddy trial is. Mm-hmm. Now, before the trial even started, all of a sudden people started swarming and started to file civil lawsuits of sexual harassment against Diddy. And the trial had nothing to do with his parties. Nothing. I mean, I don't know how many parties, it had nothing to do with his parties at all. It is only dealing with 2 women. That's it. And so but people started swarming in on it now. And now, what does he say, baby? They had like 1,000 civil suits against him, 400 something other cases against him. And again, they're not even using these people to even try the federal courts. It had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do with sexual assaults or anything about his parties. And immediately people started, when it started coming to fruition, immediately people started talking about him being the next Epstein. It had nothing to even do with that. It's about 2 women. And it was really his girlfriends. Well, maybe one side piece, but anyway, but you know, that's kind of what it was. That's it. It had nothing to do with nothing. But none of his parties he had. And immediately people already swarmed in and said, oh, it must have been those parties. And, oh, I got assaulted. I was trying to leave, but I was getting assaulted. You know, y'all, everybody who started filed y'all lawsuit, you better go ahead and grab him now. Because when you be found not guilty, well, anyway, you guys about ready to go down. So yeah.
I'm like, we have people like Angela Staton, on YouTube, and she made a post basically saying,
well, he's guilty until proven innocent. He's innocent until proven guilty.
You have it right. It's America. The new America, you guilty until proven innocent. That's the new way America operates. Now we don't operate until innocent to proven guilty. It's been guilty until proven innocent now for the past 10 years.
Right.
You didn't even you could have just been walking across the street. You're guilty. It don't matter
it's the way of perception, how people perceive the evidence. That's all that stuff is. It's the way they want to perceive in evidence. But go ahead with your analysis.
Yeah, I was looking for some Diddy animation memes when you talk about that because it's so bad. If within the hives, there's hives of people. I'm calling it hives that create the memes.
Right.
And those that
and then it just passes through.
Pass it through. So there's some funny ones out there. But again, it's the hive. Just like the whole thing that went on with what's his name? The Not Like Us. What they did?
Kendrick Lamar.
The Kendrick Lamar and Drake thing. So Kendrick Lamar does the video Not Like Us, and you have people from other nationalities doing the dance, and we got people coming up. Well, who's gonna tell them it's not like they're not like us? Dude, people. The song had nothing to do with race. So we in our hive, that hive takes everything and turns into a race thing. I know people online, they were in there
It
like
wasn't deal with race per se, as opposed to
diss track.
well, we all know what it was, the diss track, but it wasn't necessarily, what do you call it when dark skin, light skin?
Oh, you mean like
cultural,
like from
cultural misappropriation?
Like school days.
Well, maybe I know.
Like
so
school days,
right.
We got a generation that watch school
you ain't
days.
like us, brother. You think you might be wanting to be black, but you ain't black.
See, the thing is, and they said, well, it's got to be about race because they had Uncle Sam. Okay, Drake. It was against Drake. Drake is Canadian. Mm-hmm. Kendrick Lamar is American. Mm-hmm. The whole Uncle Sam thing was dissing Drake and Canada. Mm-hmm. That was the first shot or second shot because I think Trump had sent a shot to him too. That was one of two shots that was sent to Canada. It had nothing to do with race. In fact, Kendrick Lamar said it had nothing to do with race. And the only thing I was happy to see was a black stage performance. It was done. Actually, honestly, it was done tastefully. It was kind of weird at first, but the more as 6 months has gone on, I'm like, you know what? The stage performance was perfect. There's nothing wrong with the stage performance. And people got to realize, let's stop making everything about race.
And one of the things about Kendrick Lamar, and I give props to, which this is what Drake was suing about too. But anyway, he took off the copyright restriction, mm-hmm. so that way the reactors to the music was able to get paid. Right. So that was that. I mean, who does that? Who allowed that to happen? And then he was allowing the other reactors to get paid by using the song, the music. So all these people actually got paid
right.
doing these reactions to it.
That's actually really good because at the end of the day, he said, "Well, I'm not like them." So these other labels, she's done video posts where she's getting people doing stuff. Oh, well, we're going to put a commercial in there and the record label's going to get money off of it. So she had a video on one of hers hits 1 million hits. We wouldn't get a penny, but the record label, or the production company would get paid very well.
Right.
We wouldn't get a dime. She wouldn't get a dime for
right.
her.
Even if I got a bunch of you, the way social works now, I said, I told him, I was saying my husband, I did a video because I do reviews on Asian dramas. And if you like Angie's Drama Room,
I was about
YouTube.
to say, subscribe. Get over there and subscribe.
And so there was videos. I mean, I used clips, and even so they started tagging the person who owns the clips started tagging with commercials. And so I said, okay, the next time I did it, next time I did, I said I'm not going to use any clips at all. But again, they started putting clips on it. I don't get paid for that. Because I haven't reached that status where I can monetize yet. So that's one of the things. So every time if you happen to log in and or come and see one of my videos and it shows ads, I don't get paid for that. And I think my husband was saying that it's probably just a YouTube.
If you're not paying for YouTube, guess what they're doing? They're running commercials on every video. So I've seen it enough to know.
They're doing it now.
If I use one of my other accounts that's not a paid account, I see commercials and let me switch to my other account because I want to watch the video continues. I don't want to see.
I should put one on just so you can see
it. And but it's great. But anyway, the hive mentality.
Yes.
One of the things in closing I want to say about it is everybody. Let's go back to thinking for ourselves. That's all I'm asking.
You can agree with certain things, but don't do it where you start yelling at, fighting with your families, fighting with your friends. You're disowning them. You're doing that. We all should have disagreements. Some things I just don't talk about in mixed company. So I'll be like, oh, okay. So but
we're good.
I may not. I mean, I was like, somebody may have a different opinion than I have, but I'm not going to sit there and dislikes. I mean, some people just go through the social media and start hitting that dislike button, and it's because that's what they do. They don't even look at the video; they just hit dislike. I'm like, what is just a video? I mean, what is it not to like about it?
If I see people,
because you don't like the person and I'm talking about.
If I see people on social media and I see they're operating within the hive mentality, I just say mute them for 30 days because they're ranting and I still love
the conversation.
I mute
because the algorithm
because they just. I've done it to family. It's like, yeah, you're a little bit too much into this hive stuff. And I don't want to see it. I'm not on social enough anyway anymore to do it, which is not good having our own platform. But I'm not on there as much as I used to be because if I'm on social media all day, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not creating. And that's what I got to say there. Our next one is No King Day.
That's another part of the hive mentality.
That's the other half of the hive thing.
Well, let's start off because you mentioned it about it's the 250-year anniversary
of the Army.
Of the Army. And how did it start, babe?
Well, basically, if you realize the United States is only 249 years old. So the United States was under a king.
King's rule.
Under King's rule, King's law, everything. 250 years ago, we were under King's rule, King's law. So here the colonies formed an army. And they were like, we're going to fight. You had the Boston Tea Party happening. You had all the stuff that happened. We're going to war. They formed an army and they started fighting the King's men. Therefore, of course, we won the war after they burned down the Capitol, did all this stuff. But we won the war. In 1776, the country was founded, became an actual independent nation, not under the King's rule. So when I heard people saying, and we were discussing this earlier, oh, we're having a no King Day because Trump's not the king. Like, we know that the Constitution doesn't allow for a king. There's certain rules under the Constitution. I mean, first of all, we're a republic. And secondly, both of y'all are right. Of course, no King Day. You're not wrong.
Yeah, technically.
You're just
because
you're not wrong.
Right.
Your hive has told you that it's against the president. But in reality, you're right. No King Day. I'm with you. I got you.
Right, because of the fact that we fought in order to not have a rule under a king's rule.
Right. I mean, you're not wrong. At first, when I heard this mess, I was upset. Then as we were talking about it, I said, they're not wrong. Right. But they just the way they're messaging it is wrong. They should have been celebrating the fact that we formed the army 250 years ago to not have a king. Instead of saying we're going against the president, y'all should have been like, you know what? Let's celebrate the fact that the army came 250 years ago, their sesquicentennial, and they fought they fought England. The colonies did. Now, mind you, we live in the Detroit metropolitan area, so technically we live in France. People don't realize that we live what used to be France. So people are like, well, Well, we live in France, and thankfully we the war and France gave up the land because Detroit, because we live technically in the city of Detroit, not Detroit. That's a correct pronunciation. We have streets that are French in nature, meaning that and then technically Detroit, Michigan got the Upper Peninsula because I forgot who owned the Upper Peninsula. I don't know if it was Spain, but we got the Upper Peninsula in Ohio. Toledo went to Ohio. Toledo used to be Michigan. So that's another thing people don't know. If you don't know your history, no King Day, you're thinking is against one thing, but hey, if you celebrate no King Day, you great. You did a good job, but you didn't celebrate it correctly. You needed to celebrate it with, oh wow, thank God we don't have under a king. Imagine this, we would be under King Charles. Well, those countries would be under King Charles. We will still be under France, speaking French, like our Quebec brothers and sisters. And And so you're not thinking this process through.
Mm-hmm.
You're arguing about something that you should be arguing about because you don't know how many countries the United States was part of. You have Spain, England, France. Those are the three major ones I can remember off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three countries that made up the 48 states. Spain was where your Texas, California, I think part of that was Spain. France included New Orleans. So France had a weird pattern. I think
Right. It was going up towards the
all the way up to the Arctic.
Right. So that's where because I
Quebec
remember
and all
right,
that.
right. That's where France. Yep.
So you're up here arguing about something you don't even know what the country is. Three countries. The United States of America is three countries that became one.
Mm-hmm.
And you're arguing about no King Day, but you don't realize had there not been a war, you may say, well, I live in Detroit, I live in Indiana. No, technically, if that war didn't happen 250 years ago, you'll be living in some French city speaking French.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember I was studying on that. I forgot. I remember that now. Like you mentioned that, because they were saying how, French, the Louisiana territory, especially Louisiana, of course, because we had the Bayou. So
it's French
Quarter.
I mean, so.
And because that's how when we were in slavery, that's how they migrated and that's how they came through.
Because a lot of countries brought slaves here. So I know a lot of people say, well, America brought slaves. Actually, no, France, Spain, and the basic New England territory. So even though slavery started slightly before America formed, but you still had some parts were still owned by other countries.
Yeah.
And so it was basically some slaves came in through the French section, some came in through the Spanish section, and that's why I think Haiti is
That's
French.
why I was trying to figure out that name.
They're
Haiti.
French.
Yeah, Haiti.
That's I think their language is French. So you just have to understand American history. We don't teach history anymore. We're probably one of the last generations who know history. I studied I'm not embarrassed to say, when I got my GED, I mastered Michigan history. I can tell you everything that happened, the river raising, the war, the Native Americans fighting the Americans. It's like General Custer. I think it's Custer. It's like a whole lot of stuff happened here in Michigan. Like, in fact, we live near we're in Chief Tonquish land. That's where we live in Michigan. Our house is in the Tonquish area of the state, where Chief Tonquish was the chief over. So it's like, if you don't know your history, and then when I was in Boy Scouts, we of course was in the Tonquish district. So I learned even more about our Native American roots as an Arrow Light recipient, which is a high honor in Cub Scouts. But history is important. And so no King Day, hey, if you did it, good for you. You just did it wrong. Now go back and do it again, because y'all were mad. Because funny thing about No King Day fell on my birthday and the president's birthday.
Well, that's reason what they were talking about, because they thought this whole 250 the whole parade had something to do with him. And because it just so happened it fell on his birthday. And so people were saying it had something to do with him. And the fact that when so the North Korean dictator, which he is, he had the same parade, and I think he made a comment in his first term how I think we should do something like that. So that's the reason why they're thinking that it has something to do with him. So, but with Kim Jong-un and how he's pronounce his name in North Korea, it was about him.
Right.
And so if you didn't clap, if you didn't cheer.
Has anybody seen him?
Right,
my buddy lately.
Right, you would have got yourself disappeared, because those people, no matter if he shows up in front of you, you have to continue to applaud until he decides to sit down. If he wants to sit there and wave for 15, 20 minutes, you are still sitting here applauding him and continue to applaud him until he chooses to sit down.
Oh, and by the way, this has came to me. The charge they put up against Diddy, he is Diddy when it comes to women. Kim Jong-un he have women. He's known.
So what they called, I guess we may have a few minutes on this one. So I can't remember what they actually called them, but it started with his
Father.
is his father or is his grand? I think it started with his grandfather or father, and so they found women to be like a social entertainer to the king to them, and it had a certain look, certain and it was an honor to serve them. But it doesn't mean that they were having relations with all of them. It's just the fact that it was right, and they were entertainers for him. I can't think of the name of it off the side of my head. Right at the top of my head, I can't remember the name, but that's what there was. So it started with, I believe it may have started with his grandfather first, because then went to his father.
Third generation,
right.
He's a third generation dictator since the North Korean, the Korean War.
So his father,
still going on.
Right. So I know a young lady. She was but you had to be a certain. You can't have no flaws. So
perfect body.
Right. And so and it had to be the certain look that they were looking for. And so that's how, and it was an honor to be asked to be this. It'll
come to it. We'll talk about it later, because we are going to go to our final remarks, but we're going to also, within our final remarks, we're going to talk about Prayer Guard.
Yes.
You can join us on Prayer Guard every Monday starting at 6 p.m. all the way to Tuesday, 6 p.m. We've shared the link in the past. We'll get that up, but let me see if I can find that real quick, because time is getting away. But you can always find us on our Prayer Guard, and here it is. And so, yeah, it's still going on. You can catch it. It's 24 hours.
On Monday, 6 p.m. to Tuesday, 6 p.m.
And we're on, one of the two of us, she or both of us are on every Monday at 7 p.m. on the Prayer Guard.
I count it an honor to be able to even continue, because you think you're not doing good, but apparently people find you, and they make sure that, hey, are you gonna make sure you're on, and if they ask you to continue, you must be doing something.
It's been a massive honor. People are coming up to us.
Right.
There's people who didn't know we did this. They said, well, we like how y'all flow off each other. It's like, we've been doing this for 2 years. And I told her today, again, I can remind it says, I will never forget the day I'm flying back from Philadelphia at 30,000 feet. I hear clearly, start a podcast. That I didn't realize that 2 years later, we will be not only still going, but we will now be moving to the ministry side of things.
Right.
And I'm more of a teacher, talker. She's the prayer. This woman can pray. I mean, this is actually, well, I guess this is supposed to be our prayer area, but this room here, I don't watch nothing stupid in this room, because she meets God in this room. So I don't watch, I may watch the news and weather if I'm up here working, but I'm not going to watch a John Wick. I ain't going to do none of those movies that can be, basically affect the kingdom of God, the prayer that she does.
I can't see it because of
the
little area. But anyway.
Yeah, her prayer area is a corner over there. And I keep my hips, I keep everything together there. But anyway, we want to thank you for watching us today.
Yes.
We want you again to subscribe, leave a tip, and I hope you got something out of it. And we thank you all for those emails you sent. But anyway, I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And thank you for watching Garrison House. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.